Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant, and welcome back for more of Let's Play Pokémon SoulSilver. Last time, we arrived here at Cerulean City, and today, we're again going to start off with the most boring thing imaginable. Going straight to the gym and taking on Misty! Or not. Your English no so good, dude. You've been seen by me, bud. Yup. Okay. See no evil, hear no evil, taste no evil. Right? Something like that. So he apparently dropped something in here, and I'm wondering whether or not he was the dude that stole the item from the power plant. He probably was, and this is what I meant by saying you could just run right around the pool in here. You could surf when the place actually fills up with trainers and Misty is actually here. I'm the gym leader of the Cerulean City Gym, and I lead with a Houndoom! Maybe not. I want to say the item is right over here. We should be able to find it. No, I would not like to surf. I'd actually like to find the item. I could have sworn it was over here somewhere. Maybe the dowsing machine doesn't pick it up. Am I just going to be wandering around here like an idiot? I could have sworn he ran off with the item, didn't he? That son of a bitch! Actually, he didn't run off with the item. The item is actually still there. We just can't find it until we fight him. You tell me where the logic is in that. Wow, they really did something different with Nugget Bridge, didn't they? I totally didn't see there. Yes, he's literally coming between you and your girlfriend. Really? I couldn't tell. I stop here because the way the word versus is used here is how most people actually use it. Another one of the pet peeves of mine. Let's do versus against me. But really, you have to respect whenever a game tries to do a bad accent. I mean, granted, some games do it very, very poorly, but there are other games that do it very well, and if you think about it, it's difficult to communicate an accent like that just in text. But I digress, because we probably won't be seeing very much of him in the near future. And now that we finally talked to him, he tells us that it's in the gym, which means we can actually find it now. Will revenge you, they are? Yes, bye-bye a go-go! Sounds like a hit 70s single or something. But he goes off running. And now we can return to the gym, pick up the part, and go about our business. So, you know, I'm really curious as to where he picked up the technology that would not allow us to find the part until he actually told us. Now, it's either here or on the other side where I was checking frantically before. Seriously, though, I'd really like to have a piece of technology that would make it impossible to find something until I told somebody about it, regardless of how easily visible it was. So we'll have to make our way back to the power plant at some point in this video, and there are a couple of things that we can do now that the power plant will potentially be up and running again, but we'll take care of that after we do a couple of things. I guess I'll check out the mart. And yes, I finally called Mom and asked her to stop saving my money because all she's going to be doing is buying me berries, and I already talked to you like twice in this episode. There's no way I'm doing it now. Oh hey, it's the original Bice shop! Bice? What the hell is a Bice? But where are all the bikes? There aren't any bikes in here. Lucas, you want to ride a bike, right? I was hoping he could get a bike too. Oh, so you moved the golden... Why is everybody moving instead of getting somebody else to run a different shop for them? It's not like you can only have one store, you know? You could give it to your son or your cousin or something. I mean, the bike shop moved. The Safari Zone moved. What else moved? I'm glad you are. Zubat! And a Kangaskhan. Garu Garu. I want to say a number of the sounds that they make have more to do with what their Japanese names are, but I've never looked into it enough because I don't care too much. I also love when you talk to him, there's a little bit of a delay before his cry. Because he is a little bit slow. Very, very nice touch. You don't notice little things like that. And I guess that's everything we can do here. So I'll pick up Leaky so we can get the light clay on our way over to the power plant. So if you remember, there was a cut tree along the path between Rock Tunnel and Cerulean City that I said I was probably going to get off screen, but I didn't. We're here now, we might as well pick it up. The light clay! A hold item that extends the length of reflect and light screen for 3 extra turns. Very helpful for dual screen support Pokemon, but considering this is the normal game, it's not as useful as it would be in competitive. And over here is another most likely useless item that I'm not sure why I'm going to pick up, but we might as well pick it up anyway. Please be useful! TM91 Flash Cannon! We could have gotten it earlier, in fact we did, and I taught it to Krako. You know what it does! It's a special-based Steel-type move! So we'll head back down to the power plant and return the machine part to its owner, so the power plant can finally be doing something, and I forgot that my Super Repel was right here, despite the fact that it was right here. I think more so than any other project I've done, it's particularly SoulSilver, where I'll be staring at something on the screen that is a good, like, 5 or 6 inches tall or long, and I won't even notice it there. But yes, this is the only machine part that this power plant needs to begin running again. Couldn't have put in an order for another one, couldn't have repaired it otherwise. Nope! Had to be that particular part. And as a reward, we get TM57 Charge Beam, which we've gotten, I want to say at least twice, or if we haven't gotten it twice already, we could have picked it up elsewhere beforehand. Again, a move that we've seen used on Krako, so, I mean, not too much to write home about there. And since we have Leaky, we might as well just take the short route back to Cerulean City. It's so weird having somebody on hand to actually use Fly. So let's get Duster again. We still have part of the town to explore. Did I ever go in here? I think I did. Yes, I did. I always think Cerulean City is much smaller than it actually is. There's a whole section of it up here that you actually have to go up and around in order to get out of Cerulean City. Who are you? Yes, I am. Thank you for that wonderful piece of dialogue. I feel complete now that I've had a chance to see what that guy had to say. But the reason I'm not going over here to Route 4 is because you cannot go up to Mount Moon from this direction. In fact, it was one of the worst, I want to say one of the most feared jumps I ever took in Red and Blue. Where once you make that jump from Mount Moon down into Cerulean City, there's no way for you to get back up. But if you remember, this is the house where the guys were robbed by some rocket grunt in the first generation, which is why this sign is up here. And it was the only way for you to get out of Cerulean City. How the hell do you have a Diglett? How does that work? He's digging a hole in your floor! Do you realize... Okay. I guess they're fine with it. I mean, their house was a complete mess when it was robbed, so they might be used to it, I guess. Misty, the gym leader, sometimes at the Cape? I guess that's why she's not at the gym. And also, fun fact, if you bring Misty back into the gym before you pick up the... whatchamacallit, before you pick up the machine part for the power plant... Yeah, your dowsing machine is responding. It's all the way down there. I'll pick it up when we come back here much, much, much later. But if you go to pick up the machine part after getting Misty back into the gym, You have to beat her before you can actually pick up the machine part. I don't have a clue why they did that. Sorry. Sorry. I was hoping you would fight me for it, but okay. Down here is another section of grass where we can find things, none of which we haven't seen before. And I wanted to say up here there was an item that we could pick up that's probably not worth our time, but nonetheless, it's here. Can't pass up free stuff. Well, maybe you can. I can't pass up free stuff. I don't know why you would, either. Over here is the chain of 6 trainers that we have to fight in order to get a nugget at the end, which is why it's probably called Nugget Bridge! At least I think it's called Nugget Bridge. I hope it's called Nugget Bridge. Is it called Nugget Bridge? Why do you miss Fire Blast so much? I demand somebody go through every single video I've put up in which Lupus had Fire Blast and calculate what percentage he has hit Fire Blast, because I'm thinking it's nowhere above 60%. But Petal Dance is like Thrash in that it's a very powerful move that you use consecutively for 2 to 3 turns, after which you become confused. But besides Petal Dance, Thrash, and Outrage, I don't think there are any others. There might be 1 or 2, though. None of them come to mind. And Lupus finally wants to learn Flamethrower! Unlike Fire Blast, which has 85% accuracy, Flamethrower has 100% accuracy. Even though it is not as powerful, it is certainly more useful because I won't be missing it 40% of the time. I'm really tempted to go through all those videos myself and judge what that percentage is, because it is probably much, much lower than it should be. Also, now that Lupus has a base power move higher than 80 that doesn't require charging, I feel compelled to move Flamethrower up to the #1 spot. How's that make you feel, Lupus? You're not going to be missing Fire Blasts anymore! But I feel compelled to show all 6 of these battles because, technically, I guess you're supposed to fight these all one after the other, and, you know, in the spirit of the competition and the fact that I think I cut out every single trainer battle in the last episode, I feel compelled just to leave some battles in because, let's face it, it's what you're here for. I mean, I could be traversing the overworld 3 times as fast as I do if I cut out all the battles, but then again, what's the point of a Pokemon game if you cut out all the battles? Come on. And Grand Bull! Have we seen a Grand Bull before? I want to say we have. We might have seen Grand Bull before we saw Snubbull, although I think... Have we seen one? Doesn't matter. Grand Bull is the evolved form of Snubbull! Forgetful normal type, but I want to say it's at least decently powerful on the physical side. It may live an intimidated Brick Break! I'm hoping it doesn't, because I like one-shotting things. Yay! That's 2 trainers down! 4 to go! Let's see, is there anybody... There you are! I also want to say you can't possibly get through this route without facing these guys. Although you could just as easily run back to Cerulean City, heal up, and come back. I just don't think it's within the spirit of the competition to do that, you know? I mean, I do that as often as the next guy, but... It's also fun to challenge yourself, at least a couple of times in a few instances, but... This also gives me an opportunity to talk about as much of White 2 as I've gotten through. Now, I guess I have to do a little bit of explanation with this as well. Although I picked up a physical copy of White 2, I was interested to see what challenge mode would be like. Now, for those of you that don't know or haven't gotten to that point yet, once you defeat the champion of the region, of the Unova region, you enter the Hall of Fame, you get the credits. Before you see the credits, you unlock the second difficulty mode of the respective game. In Black 2, you unlock Challenge Mode. In White 2, you unlock Assist Mode. One is Hard Mode, the other's Easy Mode. So if you have Black 2, you get Hard Mode. If you have White 2, you get Easy Mode. But you can turn them on and off whenever you like before you open up the game to start. the thing of that is, and with a couple of other elements of the game as well, you could potentially trade over the keys for the difficulty settings to another copy of the game. So if, for instance, you have a brother that played through Black 2, and he unlocked Challenge Mode, if you have a second DS, at least I think you need a second DS system, he could trade you the key for it, which means you could play Challenge Mode in White 2 if you wanted to. Which is pretty awesome. Thing that is, I didn't think I would be able to do that. So I instead wanted to try it, and I wound up doing that by other means instead of on my physical copy. I'm not sure if I'll get around to the champion battle in that by the time this video goes up. I want to say I will have, and I may have put it up already. I also want to say that there aren't any hidden items up here, or any Pokemon worth finding, so there's no reason for me to be up here. But I at least wanted to see what Challenge Mode would be like from start to finish, and I think once I defeat the champion, I should have probably switched out Lupus, because he's not feeling so hot. And the last two are double battle. This is going to be fun. But I wanted to at least see what Challenge Mode was like from start to finish, because you don't get a chance to unlock it until... Wow, this is going to be an easy fight, isn't it? Until you defeat the champion. So, I'm not sure if you lose your key if you restart your game, like if you erase your save file and create a new game from the start. I'm not sure if it keeps your key. I want to say it does, because why wouldn't it? But I can't think of any easier way to go about you're not learning Feint. Feint is a not very powerful move that attacks through Protect and Detect. I'm not 100% sure whether or not you can still hit Feint if your opponent does not use one of those moves. But I just wanted to give it a shot. And the difficulty settings do what you think they would do. Trainers are higher leveled or lower leveled, better or worse AI, and the gym leaders have an additional Pokemon on top of having better hold items as well. Can I one-shot the Pidgeotto with a flamethrower? If I can't, Lupus is probably going to die. So I just wanted to give that a shot. I think I'll end my Challenge Mode run after I beat the champion, because there isn't too much more available in Challenge Mode than in the regular game. And I think I just want to start up my, my better copy of White 2. The only reason I even feel compelled to put up the Champion Challenge Mode fight is because there's one particular Pokemon I wanted to show off who's been much more helpful to me than I expected her to be. And assuming that video has gone up, it should be readily apparent who it is I'm talking about. I also hope that the low health Siren isn't bugging you too much. No pun intended, Parasect, is all form of Paris. Probably seen it before, but I don't think I've pointed it out. It would be hilarious if Lupus actually survived this fight with 18 HP from the start. The only reason I didn't use Flamethrower on Blossom was because I remembered how specially defensive it was. Please don't hit Lupus! You only used Stun Spore! I got through the whole fight without having to lose Lupus! Yay! How about we try Sunny Day, because you're not going to get a chance to use it anyway. So that's what I've been doing in my spare time, which hasn't been much, but nonetheless, I'm really enjoying White 2. Even after getting the opportunity to play through it in Japanese, I'm finding there's a lot more to it than I realized. How many voice cracks have I had in this video, by the way? It has to be a pretty high number. Let's go with Klaus. Don't see Klaus out here too often. How you doing, Klaus? I guess you're not too happy about all this. And there's an item up there. We don't have anybody who knows Cut, so we'll probably have to hold off on that for the time being. And I thought we already faced the 6 guys. Can you just give me the nugget, please? Well, f*** you too! Yeah, that's why I switched out. You had to figure there was going to be a dude like this. But speaking of things that... Oh, there's an interesting ability. Download! For the longest time, I thought download just raised one of your stats at random when you switched in. But I want to say that download... Are you using Solar Beam? Okay. You do that. I'll quick attack. I want to say the stat that download raises is the respective attack or special attack stat that will hit hardest based on your opponent's defense stats. So if your opponent has a higher physical defense, it'll raise your special attack. If your opponent has a higher special defense, it'll raise your physical attack. But for getting through all of those fights, we receive a nugget from this dude. Thanks, buddy. Well, f*** you too! Why does this game do this to me? I mean, it's not like these battles are any kind of challenge. Wow, level 48. I take that back. This is probably one of the more difficult fights we've had up to this point outside of a gym. And for the longest time, I don't know if I'm saying longest time, maybe like a month or so, pondering how I should go about taking on the Kanto gyms, I seriously considered holding off on doing any of the gyms until we got all the way to Pewter City so I could do them in the order that they were supposed to be done. And one of the biggest reasons why I considered doing that was because of how much lower level all of the trainers are up to this point before you get into the gyms. I mean, I think you can see a significant increase in level in the gyms relative to the trainers outside of the gyms. And Charmeleon, who I'm not sure we've seen before. I mean, we've seen Charmander, we've seen Charizard, you know, we've seen Charmeleon more than once. I think to the point where I actually cut one out. But I figured leaving the gyms until the end because all of the gyms are a little bit higher level than the other trainers. And I've already explained why I decided not to do that. But I think if I ever get through playing this game again, that's probably how I'd go about it, just because it's a little bit easier that way. And it's always fun to just take on all of the gyms one after the other, a little gauntlet of sorts. But up here is Bill's house! And in here you won't find Bill because he's in Goldenrod City and he still has the teleporters from when he was a Pokemon before. But here is Bill's grandfather. And I want to say every day he'll ask to see a different kind of Pokemon. Said it had ring-like legs, right? That's not the one I was hoping for. I'm not sure if you have to show them in a specific order, but depending on which Pokemon you show Bill's grandfather, he'll give you a special kind of evolutionary stone. And this is where I would like to get my water stone if at all possible, so I'll probably be off-screening that. But next time, we'll continue up towards Cerulean Cape and see what's there to greet us. This is UniversalGiant, and I'll see you next time.